Hi, y'all. Welcome back. I am here today to offer you a an ink tutorial. Ink is a huge range of materials, and I'm going to attempt to give you a quick little survey of a lot of different options so that you can make an informed choice. With ink, I strongly recommend that you sketch and pencil first, and when you finish, erase whatever you drew, the graphite. So wait, you're gonna make sure that your ink is very, very dry, like next day dry, several hours later dry, and then you can erase your pencil. The materials that I'm going to show you are India ink, which is a liquid ink, and I'm going to show you these fancy little old school pens, brush. I've also got microns. Um, Microns are most similar to like a thin Sharpie. Um, Two primary differences, and if all you have is a thin Sharpie, then you just use that thin Sharpie and make something gorgeous. The Sharpies are not archival, meaning over time the ink will fade. Um, Microns are archival, so they're going to last for ages and ages and ages and ages. The other difference is that Sharpie ink is actually their black is actually slightly a purple tint. And it's a little bit shiny. The Micron isn't. So Microns are a great choice. And if you have those available to you, I strongly recommend them. On the end, they have different numbers, and those numbers indicate the thickness of them. So, for example, here the 1 is thicker than the 0.5. Okay. Another few options. These ones are kind of fun. These are called Sharpie pens, and they have a brush tip on them. Um, and can be used to kind of create some interesting flourishes. I got my handy dandy ballpoint pen. I've got these Koi watercolor brush pens, which are fun. They're similar to that Sharpie one, except that these are water soluble, so I could actually go back. I can draw with them, and I didn't bring water, unfortunately, to be able to show you this, but I can then add water to them and fade them out in interesting ways. I actually think I have a bottle of water sitting here, so I'm going to show you that right now as I open up the water that I was supposed to drink earlier, and I dip my paintbrush straight into my water bottle. I can add water and I can bleed and blur to create some interesting effects. Like I'm already looking at this and I'm going, ooh, that could make some really cool smoke or something. And you can fade that out and do some stuff that's pretty fun. All right. So I'm going to stick with my pens first, and then I'll show you the liquid ink. The things that I wanted to show you predominantly are the differences between the pens and then also techniques for how to use them. With pens, we often do techniques like hatching, which you probably know by now. Hatching is when we draw parallel lines. When we're doing a rounded form, I'm going to do a smaller one real quick, like my little cylinder. It's usually a good idea to have my hatching lines follow the contours of that container. So I'm going to draw curved lines to reinforce the roundness of that shape, whereas other things I might do a straight line. I can also do a technique called cross hatching. So I can make areas look a little bit darker by going here and cross hatching. Um, and I'll be honest with me with pen, I really enjoy scumbling. Scumbling, you'll remember, is when we just kind of scribble. Um, I like to use the word scumble simply because I think it reminds us that it's a careful scribble. It's not a mindless, just scribbling all over the page. Even though it's a scribble, I'm considering where each mark is going. I'm thinking, oh, I need to make more scribbles, denser scribbles where I want things to be darker, and looser scribbles where I want things to be lighter. The same thing applies to the hatching and the cross hatching. As my lines are closer together, it's going to be darker. as my lines are further apart, it's going to appear lighter. That's because of optical blending. My brain is taking the white of the paper and the black of the ink, and it's mixing those together. Another couple of options. These Sharpie pens are inexpensive and fun. These are great for like calligraphy type marks. So if you want your mark to start one thickness and end a different thickness, so if you want these more expressive gestural type marks, you can do some interesting things with this is called a brush pen. And they actually come as a set with all sorts of fun colors that you can use for this. And let's see. I had thought about doing like Copics or Prismacolor markers in this video, but I feel like those need their very own video because there's so much about those. I will tell you that I recommend you selecting a paper based on the media. This small piece of paper here is watercolor paper. If you are going to use any sort of liquid medium, which includes me adding water to this ink or doing the India ink, you need to do it on a paper that can withstand that, and a great choice for that is watercolor paper. Watercolor comes in hot or cold press. Hot press is going to be very smooth, and cold press is going to show that texture just a little bit more. So just keep that in mind depending upon which option you're choosing. I also want to show you all India ink. India ink can be a really fun choice, but I do have to give you a disclaimer. If you spill this ink, it will never go away, ever, for the rest of your life. Okay, India ink is very, very permanent. So a couple of precautions. I recommend keeping your ink on a paper towel, even like a stack of paper towels a little bit, so that if I spill it, then the paper towel is going to absorb it, which will hopefully prevent it from rolling all over into my artwork. And I always like to keep my ink above my work surface. So if you can imagine, I'm sitting here and I've got my ink up here. I never want it over to the side of me, because if I bump it with my elbow, it's not going to be pretty. Okay, so couple of things. I'm going to open these up, y'all. Okay, this is such dark ink and it's gorgeous. You have a lot of choices with this. You can use a brush. These are also called, this is a pen and a nib. The nib is the end part. And you can just slide these in. I have two different kinds. I've got ones that fit together in different ways, but they basically function the same way. And you can buy ones that have different size tips. These are kind of drawing tips. They're teeny tiny little ones. So I just want to show you a few little things about them. One thing about these to know is when you finish, you always want to wash them. Now, the student who used this one last time didn't wash it and left me a big mess, and these will ruin your pens. When you dip this in, you only want to dip just the tip in. Do not go all the way up to this little hole. I guess you can't see that. Let me get it over the white paper so you can see the hole. There's that little hole in there. Do not get your ink all the way up there. You just want it in here. These pens can actually hold quite a bit of ink. And this is like the reservoir here. It just holds it in by capillary action. And when you're using this, you always pull the pen towards you. You can go sideways, that's fine, but you never want to push it away from you. That will damage the pen, and it will also it makes a really kind of skittish mark and can mess you up quite a bit. But these pens can do some really beautiful things. And the kicker is, of course, that you have to just kind of keep re-dipping as you draw your lines, but you can also let them start to dry out intentionally, like not dry out, but run out of ink, and then you get these lighter marks, which can be very beautiful. You can also use a brush. In an ideal scenario, like a bamboo brush would be perfect for this, and you can draw with this again, more like a calligraphy type thing. The brush will allow you to get thick or thin type lines. Another thing that you can do with this India ink, which is just lovely, is you can water it down. And so I hope I've watered this down adequately for you to be able to see it. But you can, oh, it is still very dark. Y'all, I used a drop of ink and a ton of water, and it is still so very dark, which is not what I wanted for this demo. I'm going to quickly use my handy dandy little bottle of water, and I'm going to try to make a lighter wash. This ink is so powerful that it just takes such a tiny little bit. Okay, so I can, there we go. I can make different, what we call a wash, a graded wash, so different lightnesses or darknesses of this. And if you imagine, y'all, you could have, you know, 10 different little pots of ink all lined up that are different shades of gray, and you can use this to paint your artwork and create some really incredible things. And then when this dries, I can always go back on top and draw lines, you know, outlines or draw detail lines over it if I'd like to do that, and create some really interesting marks with that as well. If you're choosing to use your liquid India ink, especially if you're using it as a wash, treat it as you would watercolor. So remember that you'll have to you can do wet on wet, so I can blend two colors together while they're still wet. So if I take this while this is still damp, I can kind of fade it off. But if I want to keep those hard edges, remember I'll need to let it dry and then do the next bit of ink so that they don't bleed together like watercolor does. So as always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I will be happy to help you in any way that I can. Enjoy making your masterpiece. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.